All right, so can you license products if you live in a country other than the United States? Stephen, do we have any students that have done that?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. Stephen and I have been doing this for 15 years. We have students in over 40 countries. Just in the last couple of months, Stephen, we have Damien. He's in the Yukon, which is the western part of Canada, next to Alaska. Only 30,000 people, entire population in the Yukon. We had a student that was in Australia, recently licensed a product, another student in Israel. We have students in the UK, we have this one woman in a French New Polynesian island. I think it was only like population 2,000. So the answer is it doesn't matter where you live. You can do this from anywhere.
No, that's absolutely true. And what I really like about it, Andrew, because you can file a provisional patent application anywhere in the world in the United States, it allows you to play the biggest game in the world, is what it does.
Yeah, and so the U.S. does not discriminate. You can live anywhere in the world and file a U.S. provisional patent for $65. And all our students do that. I've never had a student that couldn't do it, so that's going to be your protection. A lot of times people are limiting themselves, Stephen, to their geography. I talked to this one woman this morning from Kenya, and I said, you're not going to try to license in Kenya. The main place you're going to focus is the U.S. and Canada, and then there might be European companies that are really big in the U.S. and Canada, or European companies as well. A lot of those same companies will sell into Kenya or Australia. Correct. Or other places. But open innovation, in for instance, for Africa, they're not open. These companies are not that exclusively sell there. So you don't limit yourself to that geography. And the companies that you're going to license to, they don't care where the ideas come from. They don't care if you're in Africa or in the UK or in China or in Canada or Australia or Mexico or Brazil. They just want good ideas. And you can file a U.S. provisional patent just like a U.S. citizen to protect yourself. So, Stephen, anything else you want to say that you can do this from anywhere?
Yeah, what I found amazing, Andrew, in the last couple of years especially, it's a smaller world. It's a global economy, and many companies, especially here in other parts of the world, are looking outside their walls for ideas. It's called open innovation. And Andrew's right. We've got students in over 40 different countries, and are licensing ideas not only here in the United States, but also other places too now. So the opportunity is great. What you have to realize too, and Andrew mentioned this, a provisional patent application, you can file it anywhere. Beautiful. It gives you that perceived ownership. It gives you patent pending status for 1 year. So when Andrew said that most likely you're going to contact a company here in the United States, perfect, and they've got long arms all over the world. That's wonderful. Also, I want to mention this too. Because a lot of the companies now have online submission forms, right? They're trying to track the ideas that are coming in so they can track them correctly, get back to people correctly, that you can submit anytime, day or night. And better yet, you don't even have to speak English, basically, because if you can translate it in English, send it to companies, no matter where you live, no matter if you send it in the middle of the night, they're going to get it.
Yeah,
and so,
but at the same time, Stephen, all our coaches are native English speakers, so you have to have a certain level of English to be a student of ours.
It helps, and if you aren't, maybe if you had someone else that could help you. But yes, Andrew's correct. But the point I'm making, this opportunity is for anybody, anywhere, and that's what's really exciting for me.
It is. You're not limited by your geography.
To see Damien in the Yukon living up in the middle of where all the moose and caribou are, and he's licensing around the world.
And the reason why you can do that is typical negotiations are 3 weeks to 3 months. It's all via phone and via email. If one of our students was 100 miles from a company, I would say don't go out and meet them. It's not necessary. So the thought, Stephen, that a lot of people have is, I have to fly out and meet with them, and I can't afford that. And no, if you have Skype and you put $10 into your account, you can call the U.S. for maybe 5 to 10 cents a minute, and you can make your calls, you can email, you can submit on websites. So there is no difference between you and a U.S. inventRight student. And I have to say that, Stephen, our international students quite often do a better job in certain areas. So sometimes students will make assumptions about certain retailers and limiting their list of potential licensees, companies they can sell their ideas to, because they're just thinking about what is local to them. But an international student won't make any assumptions about U.S. retailers. They'll go online, they'll research it, and they'll make a nice bigger list of companies because they're not making the false assumptions that the U.S. students are making because they're on the East Coast or West Coast thinking that it's the same in the whole United States, which it isn't. So I find that international students do a better job in a lot of areas, actually.
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to mention too. Everybody's worried about protection. And I'm here to tell you, here in the United States, we have a provisional patent application. It's a great tool. It gives you patent pending status for 1 year to take your idea, product, submit it to companies. It allows you to do your homework. Now, there's a lot of countries that don't have that.
Yeah.
But what's really great about it, in fact, I'm going to give this lecture in Northern Ireland next month, is that you can be in Northern Ireland and you can file a provisional patent application in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that 1 year, you can file what we call a PCT. And that PCT will allow you to get protection possibly in any other country, Northern Ireland.
Yeah. So the U.S. provisional is giving you some additional rights to later file internationally
Yes.
in PCT countries.
That's my point I wanted
Patent
to make.
cooperation treaty countries, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing because within that month, if I file PCT, it gives me another 18 months to designate what other countries I want to file in.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of our international, potential international students, Stephen, are concerned about that.
I
So
know
thank you for addressing that.
No, it's a wonderful tool, and you can do it anywhere. That's what I love about this, and I'm going to talk about it just to all the people up there in Northern Ireland. They belong to the UK, and they don't have provisional patent applications. It doesn't matter. They can file here in the United States.
But the main thing that we want to get across in this video is there's no difference between you if you're in Africa or Australia or the UK or Canada or Mexico or Brazil. You have all the same ability to license products.
Yeah.
The company doesn't care if you're in California or Florida or the middle of the United States or in these other countries. They
Correct.
don't care. They just care about a good product. So that's really important. Steve, we get that question so much.
Well, Andrew, it's a great question, and because it's becoming a smaller world, and I like that you can play anywhere in the world, in the biggest market in the world. And trust me, if you play here in the United States, most of those companies have long arms, other parts of the world. So it's all good. It works for everybody.
So you do need to have, you do need to speak English to be a student of ours, but it doesn't have to be great, because when you're calling, emailing these companies, you're saying pretty basic stuff. I've had some students, Steve, where their English is pretty rough, but you do need to speak English to a certain extent.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Good.
So hopefully that was helpful, everybody. And if you haven't watched the other videos, check them out. There's a lot of good stuff. All right. Take care.